Tell me what you think is the difference between a comedian and a comedic content creator. Because there's a great tension. There's some comedians don't really honor content creators. They say it should be a whole separate category.
Well, yeah, and it's both. A lot of comedians can't do content creations. And a lot of content creators can't stay on a stage for 5 minutes.
Right.
And so I think the issue is when they try to cross. More so, content creators don't have a problem with comedians coming over trying to do what they do.
Wow.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But when a content creator says, hey, I'm going to, and I think the problem is the fact that when content creators go to the big stage and they draw the crowd, the comics spent 10 to 15 years trying to do,
yes,
and they bomb, it's like, dude, we've been sharpening our craft, working markets, trying to build up, and you can do that overnight because you created and have this platform and you don't take it seriously. So you get up here and what kind of material what are you writing? Right. I think that's the issue more than anything.
But you doing both.
Oh yeah. I started out with
able to do both well.
I started out with stand-up like 2008. That's when I started.
Okay.
So I mentioned my pastor. So Bishop Otis Lockett, God rest his soul, but he wrote a book called Understanding Your Divine Calling. And after reading that book, I said, I just want to do two things. I said, I want to play football, and that's what I was doing at the time. And I said, I want to make people laugh. I don't want to be a doctor, a lawyer. I just want to make people laugh. And I didn't know how to go about it. And comedy or stand-up was introduced to me. And I did it. And I can't say I loved it because I was supposed to put up to 15 minutes. 4 minutes in, I said, oh, this ain't for me. And I walked off the stage.
Why? Were they booing you?
Somebody said, what? To one of my jokes, like, what? And I said, oh, Lord. And I said, this is my time. They said, you don't want your check? I said, mail it to me.
Wow.
And I left. I was at Greensboro College. I'll never forget it. And I did a show there. And I was like, man. And so a guy walked up to me and said, man, the only reason why you're not doing stand-up is because you're scared. I said, man, he called me out. Ken Canyon, never forget it.
Wow.
And we've been going ever since.
Who are the content creators out here who you respect and admire?
Kev on stage, he does both. I think, and I admire him as well as like a guy named John Chris. Because
John Chris is a white
guy. Yeah,
he's great.
Yeah, and so I would say him and Kev on stage more so them two because they do both. They do it both at a high level. Content creation, and I mean creating content 2, 3 times, 4 times a day.
Yeah.
As well as selling out comedy shows and delivering on that level. And so there are a lot of content creators out there that are just hilariously, just funny, hands down. But for that to translate on stage and for your audience to have that experience and to walk away with, and then to be able to write another hour. It's one thing to go and do stand-up and then it's almost like preaching a message.
Yeah.
You didn't preach the house down.
Right.
Can you come back next week and preach? You're like, oh Lord, that was my best sermon.
Right.
So the ability to write more material and day in and day out. So that's why I would probably go to their shows just to hear what is their new hour. And throughout all of that, I'm on tour with Kev on stage now.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize that.
And so, yeah, I'm doing 20 cities with them.
Nice.
And to see him just be able to do other things, like, I'm like, dude, you're still creating content. You're on the road. You got studying your script for BET, doing all this stuff. You're working on brand partnerships and all that good stuff. And you're still able to put out content every day.
It's remarkable and admirable.
That discipline is crazy.
Yeah.
And he don't eat right.
He doesn't?
So his discipline, I don't know where you get it from.
Wow.
No, I'm joking. He ain't that bad.
No. I get it. If there was one window in this season of your life, one door that you would want God to open, what is it?
I probably would say television, but I would just be saying it.
Yeah.
Honestly, the doors he's opened have already just wowed me enough.
That's amazing.
Because the goal was to start performing in comedy clubs across the country and then transition into theaters. Well, we just got signed with an agency and it's got 15 shows right off bat. And then we just booked a theater in Charlotte to do a show, 1,100 seats.
Incredible.
And I'm like, come on. Definitely want to start growing online, creating more content. And so we just jumped maybe 50,000 followers since January 1.
Incredible.
And so I'm like, so he's doing it. He's already open, like what I've been asking, what I've been praying for. And he's already doing it. We're going to London to do a show. And so that's the international part. I want to travel and be international, national, international. And you seeing God he steadily just opened up doors I didn't even think that could be open. And he's opened them. So.
No, that's incredible. I want to ask you, because of people like Dave Chappelle, D.L. Hughley, find themselves often in frontline controversies. Is there ever a time where you think stuff is off limits?
Oh, most definitely.
What will you not make fun
of? It depends on how you say not make fun of. And I wouldn't make fun of someone who's already down. That's off limits. Because you say, I ain't gonna pick on somebody handicapped. But somebody in front, there was a young lady. Immediately you would think, I ain't gonna pick on a handicap. It was a young lady.
Hey, man.
I was in Wilmington, and if I hope you watch the vouch for me. I was in Wilmington. The young lady, she,
Hey, man.
Yeah, she looked, had the deformities and hand placement, everything, head to the side. And it was just head and shoulders. I'm just gonna say it like that. Okay. And so I do this joke about me saying, well, I'm saying, I lost some dear person in my life. I lost my neck. I ain't got no neck. And the crowd went crazy. She said, I lost mine too. And I said, whoa. I said, whoa. Woo-hoo. And I'm talking about the whole crowd. The comedy went to another level. And she laughed.
Wow.
And I said, I ain't saying she did.
Right.
And I said, I just went on. I said, we in this thing together.
Right.
And she said, yes, we sure is, baby. And it just, boom. So I ain't pick on her.
Yeah.
But
she violent to you.
Yeah, come on, somebody. So, but if she was there and didn't say anything, I wouldn't have just went at her.
Right.
Come on.
No, that's,
you know what
you
I'm saying?
got compassion.
So you got to. But
have you ever been pulled up after a show like, hey man, why'd you do that?
No. Because I don't really, because you feel it. You feel it in the room. Like you're able to joke with me now.
Right.
Because you're like, okay, he good. He gonna take it.
Right.
You're like, okay, but then you kept on going a little bit too much though. But you can read the room.
Yeah.
You'll know, okay, let me start talking about buddy. And if it does start turning that, you'll kind of bring it on. You like, oh, he gonna take me out. He gonna be, where's security at? You're like, he can take me out. So you can just read the room to know, like, okay, I'm probably talking to this guy a little bit too much, or I could talk about their relationship a little bit, see how comfortable they are. If it's bothering them, then I'm just gonna pull out. You know what I'm saying?
No,
but if it's something you just read the room.
No, you got a mystery heart. You a runaway preacher for real.